me, I'd like to call this education committee meeting to order, if you all don't mind.
Pardon me.
Give me a check. We do have a quorum. I want to make sure that we do have a quorum here. And everybody get a second here to look over the minutes, if they are as printed.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same like sign. I'd like to turn it over to the director of.
Okay, we do have a couple of budget amendments. I'll clean it up. First one I want to talk about is the easiest one.
Do we have copies of those? Oh, you
We sent
already
it to
got
you.
it by email?
I
Everybody
got it in the email.
Here you go, Mike. Michael, you
Everybody-
got copies for?
I do.
I don't need it.
Oh, that's.
Take one. I know we sent them.
Yeah, I did.
No, we got it
I
yesterday.
did.
Thank you.
Take one down and pass it around.
I didn't pick up. I think I got an extra one.
Mike, you need one or not?
Yeah,
Hold on,
but
let me
not
see.
really, but just for looking at it.
Mike, did you
Should
have
be another one, should be two
no,
of them.
If Danielle's got it, I'm good.
Thank you.
Oh, we had, oh, we passed out too many.
Okay. All right, well, I got one more to pass out. I'll keep passing around. You have that one too, Joe?
Yeah, I got them. Yeah, I'll get one of them.
Thank you.
Which
one are you
got it?
I brought some of my notes.
I don't know which one he's gonna do first. He's gonna do them. You ready?
Yeah.
Michael's gonna present you budget amendments.
We're back in session. Go ahead, Mr.
Okay, so the one we're gonna look at first, from the bottom under explanation, you'll see something that says Summer Learning and Bridge Camp 2022 Revision 1. That is the exact same style budget amendment we did for the summer camps that originally we got money for. This is a revision we submitted to the state. They have approved it. So because this is in our general fund, we have to bring it through the school board and the funding body. But all this is revising our summer camps budget to match what the state wanted us to revise. So no new money, just part of that grant.
Perfect.
Is this money you got from the state?
Yes, correct. And
Was
if you'll
it-
notice,
was
there's
it
no
more
revenue,
money?
we're just
Was-
moving it in between
Okay, so
expenditures.
there's no increase?
Nope.
Gotcha.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same like sign. Next one.
Okay, the second one is kind of our year-end cleaning up budget amendments. A couple of things of note, there are some small amounts, but I will talk about the large amounts. You'll notice we had to increase our 2 substitute line items. That is because we finally got our final sub bills for the end of the year. As you know, our board granted additional COVID leave. That contributed to this. So we're increasing the sub line items. We're also increasing trustees' commissions because revenues continue to come in strong, I would assume, just like over here at the county. Our diesel fuel line item, you'll notice a big increase there. We continue to run buses for summer school, continue to run buses for, throughout the end of the year. That should carry us through the end of the year. And then you'll notice another increase on there for disposal fees and natural gas. They just continue to go up on our natural gas. And then our disposal fee has went up a little bit for all the extra trash that we're generating for summer camp and things like that. So any questions there? That does not use any fund balance. We did have some additional BEP revenue to cover some of that. And then we had additional sales tax to cover some of that. So no fund balance there.
Now, can you explain the certified versus non-certified subs?
Yes, so if
Do
you're
they
a
all get paid
certified,
the same?
no, there's different rates, and then the state requires that we classify them in 2 separate categories. So if you're a certified teacher and you want to come back and sub, I have to pay you out of the certified line item. And then if you're a non-certified sub, so a non-teaching license for myself, if I went to sub,
Yeah.
I would be paid out of the non-certified sub line item.
All right, thank you.
Okay, just a
Motion to
quick
approve?
question, please.
Okay.
I'd like to know, what is the retirement hybrid? What is that?
Retirement hybrid.
Hybrid. I wanna call it hybrid.
So what happens is, you'll notice we increased that right there. So if you're an employee hired after, I think it's July 1 of 2014.
Never mind, I was thinking that was 150,000. My eyes went to the
Should be
wrong line.
1,500, yes.
1,500, my bad, don't worry
Yes,
about it.
but essentially, I'll go ahead and say that because you'll see that when I budget for our legacy employees. Let's say a legacy employee who is hired, let's say a teacher who's been here 20 years leaves. We hire a new teacher in here who is on the hybrid retirement plan. Their hybrid retirement rate is different than the old legacy rate.
Okay, I went to the wrong line, I'm sorry.
Okay,
So I got a
to
motion,
approve.
second.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any questions from the audience? Any questions from the table?
Yeah, on our minutes, you guys said you'd come back this month about the land due diligence and the bids. Do you have any information on that?
Yes, we do, after we get this through.
Okay.
That might even be presented at the budget, or you gonna present, it's gonna be presented at the budget today. So I think the mayor's got the information we need on that. So is there anything else? We need 2 more things.
We're gonna talk about it or wait?
Go ahead and
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
we're
We've
talking about
opened
it
it.
now. Go ahead, go
Yeah.
ahead. I
We've
thought
opened
you
our
said you was
bid.
gonna wait.
Yeah.
And I do want to just state that this bid has a 60-day limit on it. And I really don't want to go, I don't want to bid it again in this current market. I don't think that's what I think the cost will continue to go up every day.
Yeah.
They wanted to, a 30-day, and we convinced them to let us have 60 days to get this thing through, because prices are changing every day.
Are you talking about West Wilson Middle School or
Yes.
the land? Okay.
No,
No,
Sorry,
to
John
clarify
just-
this, so West Wilson Middle,
Okay.
so we're talking about, we put out a bid that was good for 60 days.
Right.
Before we put that out, we did communicate with several, not just one builder, we communicated with builders that were bidding on schools in other counties. All of them said, hey, we're not gonna bid on it if you do 90 days, which is what we would typically do.
Right.
They said, you have to do 30s or we're not bidding. They reached out to us, we didn't reach out to them. We said, hey, we can't do 30 days, we can't get it through our board, even to the commission in 30 days, that's just not feasible for us. So we said, fine, we're gonna bid for 60, and if you choose not to bid, that's okay. But anything else, they said they were not even going past that, so just to clarify what Mr. Letcher was saying.
Okay.
there.
So we do have that ready. Michael can present that and go over some numbers. The bid, I will go ahead and bring up, I know we talked about really wanting to bring the land at the same time.
Right.
We do not have a final report
Okay.
on the land. And I have stated that we're gonna do our due diligence, and we are. And I'm not gonna make a decision until I see the final report. And it's not ready. We've pushed them and pressured them. They're still working. We talked to them just, an hour ago. I don't have that ready, the land. I can't make any recommendations because I have not seen the final report. on
But
what
you're
we're
ready for
moving
the
forward
school.
with. But the school bid, I would like to bring and get that to the commission.
Did they say that when they'd have the final report for the land, or any idea?
Hopefully by July. That's what we told our board, that we would try to have it ready
We're
by July.
anticipating
Next
actually an
week,
additional
hopefully.
phone call tomorrow.
Yeah.
For some further information. Some of the studies showed some things we wanted to do further due diligence on, so
Okay.
we hope to have that any day, but we bring it back to the board in July is kind of what we're
That was
anticipating.
our time frame on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Michael, do you want to go over the numbers on the bid?
Okay, so we did bid back in, I guess it was May, and I guess our board approved it on May 16th is when they approved the bid, at the same time we approved our budget. We awarded the low bid, the board chose to award the low bid to R.G. Anderson. That bid amount was $51,275,000 even. That was the low bid. Now, as we ran the numbers, we obviously have several other bids left to go, to bid out furniture and stuff like that. So we do have an estimate, just like in years past, So we've estimated that FF&E is going to cost approximately 20%. So with that being said, is we also estimate still having some insurance money left over to go to West Wilson Middle. We anticipate having approximately $9 million or so left of insurance money to go to the school. The reason we're estimating that, and I can't give you a firm number, is we're still paying bills on portables. We're still in the in the construction of Stoner Creek. So, is it possible that at the end of this I could have 9.5 million? Yes, it is very possible that I could have a little less or a little more than that of insurance money left. But obviously, I can't run short on Stoner Creek. Can't run short on the portables that we're currently have Stoner Creek in.
Did they ever come get those portables in front of Stoner Creek?
Yes, they have, but we are moving another one. We just talked today to Mount Juliet Middle because Mount Juliet Middle has run out of classroom space. So yes, they have except one, and we're moving that one to Mount Juliet Middle this summer. So it'll go over there. Our tentative plan right now is to go over by the other one that's at Mount Juliet Middle. So
Okay.
we're running out of space. And as you know too, we had to move our Care Here clinic. It's now premise, but our clinic for our employees is also at Mount Juliet Middle that took up some space there. So,
What's projected once that we get everything settled with all this and projected? What's the projection date of probably taking to build this school?
So to cover that, so I'll cover, let me finish these numbers and I'll cover that too.
I apologize.
So with that being said is, we would need approximately $52,530,000 as far as a bond issue or a borrower, to borrow money to complete this school. Now, that does not include FEMA, because that's the next question that most people ask. So we anticipate right now getting 90% of reimbursable expenditures back from FEMA. Now, keep in mind that is allowable reimbursable expenditures. So don't take that number and think I'm getting 90%. Because if you remember, we built back Stoner Creek larger than the original Stoner Creek, and we plan on building the middle school back a little bit larger. Because if we built it back to the same size, it would be at capacity today. It would be capacity to open. So FEMA does not reimburse that extra. FEMA does not also reimburse some other costs that we have spent money on. For example, the previous administration hired NFA. I'm just using this as an example. They do not reimburse that cost. So there are several things that are not reimbursable by FEMA. I just don't want anybody to take this number and go, hey, 90%, I expect a check for 90% of that. That's not how it works with FEMA. So now, the next thing is if we were to, or if the commission's will was to borrow money to help us float essentially until we got money back from FEMA, we could start construction pretty much any time. They are asking, RG Anderson is asking, we're ready to go now. Because they're already building Stoner Creek, they're ready to march right down the road and start construction. Part of the agreement, as soon as we turn them loose, we have given them 24 months to build this school. But that 24 months starts once we turn them loose with the permits and the applicable, thumbs up and go ahead. Now, if the commission's will was to go through and borrow for this, we can use that, I put in quotes, the $9 million of insurance money left over to start the construction as we work through the borrowing process. Once we get farther enough along in the borrowing process that, RG Anderson feels comfortable, we feel comfortable, the mayor's office feels comfortable to us to turn them loose, if that makes sense. So they're ready to go anytime, and as soon as we give them the heads up, 24 months, to answer your question.
Okay, so bottom line is, what's the bond you need?
$52,530,000 is our amount.
Total bond.
Correct.
And the $9 million.
We would have that on hand now so the school would cost approximately $62 million and some change. We have $9 million on hand now.
Does that include all the desks and
Lock
everything?
and key.
Yes.
Lock
So
and
that's
key.
so the 20% I told you on top of the bid amount would be the FF&E, the furniture, fixtures, and equipment. That's where the desk, science tables,
Right.
weight room equipment.
Lock and key, basically.
Yes. Yes.
So the 52,275 is what the bid came with, right?
51,275.
Or 51,275.
Correct. That would be the general contractor bid.
Okay, and then the extra 5 or 6 million for the
The extra 10 would be extra 10 million or so would be the FF&E.
Okay,
Yeah,
extra
10 to 11.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Let me mention too, just, and I know we've mentioned this, but some people, sometimes I forget. FEMA is reimbursable.
Right. It's not-
You gotta spend that money, and then they will reimburse you after you go through the process for them to approve it. And so technically Stoner Creek is gonna be paid for out of the insurance money.
Right.
We have to use that first. They won't even let us do anything till we spend.
Let me go through a couple things to clarify. This insurance settlement, because that's a question I get a lot. What all did we spend? It's not just on Stoner Creek and West Wilson. So
Right.
I'm going to go through a couple of things here too. The Mount Juliet bus garage, we fixed repairs on that building out of the insurance settlement. We actually had some damage at Lebanon High School from that same storm. That was fixed as part of this insurance settlement. The temporary fencing that is now currently around West Wilson, that was paid for out of the insurance settlement. So there was a lot of money spent up front as of this insurance settlement. So if you were to do the math and say, okay, Stoner Creek cost this, you got this much in insurance proceeds, I should have this. Keep in mind, a lot of things were spent up front on those types of things.
There's the portable rental as well.
Correct. So
Which was a bigger
FEMA, we
bill.
have 3 projects with FEMA right now. One of them is Stoner Creek. The next one is what they call a temporary school, which is the portables. And then the other one is West Wilson Middle. We have closed some projects. For example, one of the things that is also part of this insurance settlement is that FEMA, that was not part of the settlement, that FEMA has already given us credit for, above insurance, is generator rental to keep the heat and air on at the gym. So because that was not included in the settlement with travelers, they have said, okay, we're going to put that towards your credit The other thing they put towards is we've been keeping track of our hours. So my hours, Jeff's hours, Steve Spencer's hours, that goes to an in-kind match credit. So that extra 10% that we would be responsible for, our man hours go towards that 10%. Now, we have talked with TEMA. Originally, TEMA was going to cover half of what FEMA didn't. I still think that is on the table from them. I have not heard a firm letter of yes. So there's a potential there for the 5%. So then we would be eligible for 5% of the costs. But like I said, just please keep in mind, do not take 90% of the number I gave you, because there's a lot of things in there that are not allowable reimbursements from FEMA. Just want to make that clear, because I get that question a lot.
So in other words, whatever FEMA tell us to spend the money for, that's what we gotta spend the money for. You wanna make, like you said, you wanna make it.
They are reimbursing us to build back the schools
Right.
to how they were before.
No
So
extras.
that's one of the reasons we're building back a single-story school. I get that question a lot. Why is Gladeville Middle 2 stories, and why are you building a 1-story for West Wilson Middle? Well, it was a 1-story beforehand. So if I build a second, then that whole second story is not.
Right.
Not covered.
So I
Right.
just want to
Question,
clarify.
Madam Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Do you anticipate this bond, Mayor, this may be a question for you too. Do you anticipate this coming in July, the bond, August? This month? Okay, my
Gotta
next
come.
question. We're gonna be getting FEMA money back. We normally do a 20-year bond on things. Since we're getting money back, are we looking at doing how long's the bond gonna be?
20.
bond, we call it 5 years.
Right,
So
callable
we take
5, right?
Whatever money that we get back from FEMA, as well as any contingency money that's not used here in the bond.
Okay.
And let me add too, that money from FEMA will come directly to the trustee's office. So we'll just transfer that to whatever applicable fund that I would assume would probably go to debt service, would be my inkling to pay the bond off. But that would really be up to Aaron and the mayor to where they would want to put that money. We would just do a transfer down the trustee's office. So it wouldn't be us getting a check and then trying to figure it. It would just be
Right.
FEMA comes in, that money can go straight to wherever they want to put it. I would
And
assume.
then you also said about TEMA, we don't know yes or no if we're gonna get that, but the same scenario if we do get
Correct.
TEMA money.
And that money would also come straight to the trustee's office, so I just want that clear, there's no money going, a check coming over to Michael Smith's office, and then I've gotta bring, it would be wired through,
Right.
to the trustee's office downstairs, and,
Because you're not taking your cut then.
is that-
Yeah.
Okay.
The school system is not taking a cut, I just wanna be clear.
Does that
Mr.
bid include the low voltage?
It does not. The low voltage is in that 20%.
It is, okay.
We bid out, so on Stoner Creek, we actually saved quite a bit of money. We bid out the furniture separate, low voltage, we bid out separate and saved quite a bit of money. We're actually bidding out a little more separate on this project than we did Stoner Creek based on the markups that were in the Stoner Creek project. So all the low voltage, screens, TV, digital signage, those types of things would be bid out as part of that 20%.
Commissioner Breeze?
Okay. Do we have debt capacity for this?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
Now, I have
Make sure that
another
was the
question.
case.
Do we need a motion to approve to go forward with this bond?
Do we need a motion to go forward?
Yeah, to recommend it to the budget committee.
Okay.
I was asking the
Okay.
mayor,
I'll
was
make a
Ashley
motion.
McAnulty.
You can ready.
I'll second.
I think the mayor's ready. Well, I mean, he's gonna present it at budget.
Yeah, but I'm talking about what goes out in the packet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Ashley's gonna have it here.
It's already here. It's already here.
We got the resolution prepared that we need to look at, make sure that we're good with it, and then we'll get them new, because we know you gotta get them out on Monday.
He's already ready.
Yeah, it's gotta go out Monday.
So I'll make a motion in this committee that we go forward with the bond issue.
And what is that figure again?
52,
52 million, but no, what we
Here's, let me,
okay,
the 52 million is a part of that number, but I need to go ahead and try to get the money that we've allotted for the elementary school land in both places. Even though we may not go with a double log cabin area,
You still need the money.
I don't need two bond issues there. So I'm looking at really 57
I
One
million.
agree with that. That's what I mentioned before.
I'm looking at 57 million if I back it off. We looked at 67 million to begin with, but we got about 10 left over, so 57 is what I actually need. So if you could make it, it's not to exceed 60 million on your resolution, that would help me. We will only borrow exactly what we need, okay? But in talking with Ashley and them, they said, you know, interest rates are going up as we speak every day. No need to get another issuance cost to borrow money for the land. If the double log cabin does not work and the next land's a little bit higher, we do have capacity and fund balance on capital projects to make up any smaller differences there. So that is an easier thing for me to do. So 60 million would be good.
That's what he's gonna-
Okay, I'll make that motion not to exceed 60 million for the bond issue to cover the
Did he
school
say not to exceed
and the
60?
land that will be
Yes.
bought in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a motion by, Commissioner Gentry, second by Commissioner,
And I just got a quick question. On that, the land
Robinson.
purchase, I thought we had the money to purchase that land.
Do you have the money inside of your debt service is what you asked me for earlier.
Okay.
11 million total is what it is. I have to break it up into general debt service for 3 million of it for the high school portion of the double log cabin works. I don't share that with Lebanon Special, but the rural debt takes care of the rest of it.
Okay.
And that's where most of this is coming from.
Okay.
The 60 million will come from rural debt, and there'll be 3 million on the resolution from the general debt service.
Okay, thank you.
now, the reason why I kind of put it off, because I knew he's gonna bring all that up in budget too, so if you guys wanna hang around, he'll go in further detail and regarding the budget. Are there any further questions?
Need a second, get a motion.
I got a second, Sister Robinson,
Mr.
Mrs. Robinson.
Did you second?
I second.
Is there anything else?
Well, do we need to vote?
We need to vote.
Oh, yeah, oh, I thought we already voted.
No.
My
No.
bad, my bad.
Aye.
We got a motion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous? Now, is there any other business? I'm so glad you sit beside me and remind me of what I need to do.
Motion to
Yeah.
adjourn.
Well, I have a question. I have a
Okay,
question.
sorry. Take my
I
motion
I had a
back.
gentleman over where I live that has some disc golf, and I understand some of the schools already have that. And he was very interested in making sure the kids at the schools had the opportunity. But some of these kids they don't play football, they don't play baseball. The disc golf is,
Oh, disco.
I've never played it before. I've seen it played. And he was supposed to come to the school board, maybe he's coming this month, this next school board. He hadn't come yet, right? Anyhow, but he's real in favor of it, and he'd like to support it. And I'd like the school people to at least listen to him.
Well, we definitely listen to
And it's not for anybody else but the kids, okay?
And we may already have a frisbee golf club. It'd be a close, but I think I saw a fundraiser request for one.
Okay.
I may be wrong on that.
You might have
I'll
it in
look
some of
into
the
that.
schools.
Yeah.
And he was working with
Before we adjourn, Mayor, got a
Rutland
question.
Elementary.
You got a question?
Over there
Before we adjourn,
demoing
Mayor,
it, the
got
kids
a
and the
question.
teachers loved it. And he took some portable baskets over, anyhow.
But we have several of those alternative sports through I would say club, but I guess a club style.
It is.
Yeah.
Like a fishing team.
Swimming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but he's gonna come to the board, I guess, talk to you. Anyhow.
Okay, thank you. I think the mayor's got a final question.
So, Director Lux will inform me that when we do the due diligence at the Board of Education, I'll send all of you an email so you'll know when that due diligence is being done. And they'll also schedule a time to have one here as well, even though we know the call is with the Board of Education, but I asked them to come over here and do one also in our commission room. So I'll let you know when the one is with the Board of Education and also the one here as soon as we get it scheduled. So you can go to both if you choose to do that, just to let you know. If that's the question.
All right. we got a
Motion to adjourn.
Need a second?
Second.
Thank you.